This is actually crazy. The president and the US government just did the unthinkable. And Palantir is at the center of the spotlight. Billions of deals are coming. Analysts are dropping their confirmations. We might actually see Palantir's price pump 10 times sooner because of this. And it's not stopping soon. What is happening? And what on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Palantir's stock price is kind of chilling today, slowly stabilizing. Nothing too wild on the chart, but that's just the surface. Because behind the scenes, the community is absolutely buzzing. And it's not just hype for the sake of hype. We're talking about real massive moves happening. Deal after deal, partnership after partnership, and we're not talking small stuff here. These are multi-million-dollar contracts coming in back-to-back. It's like every week there's another huge announcement, and the momentum just keeps building. But hold on, because this next part might actually blow your mind. Just when people thought things couldn't get crazier, the president stepped in and made another massive announcement that rocked the Palantir world. Yep, again. And this one's huge. So big that people are already calling it the potential catalyst. The moment that could actually launch Palantir into the stratosphere. I'm talking trillion-dollar territory here. That's not a typo. And a stock price that could eventually touch 4 digits. Now, if that happens, and we're not saying if, we're saying when, you want to make absolutely sure you're holding enough Palantir shares. You don't want to be the one looking back thinking, I should have loaded up. And here's the good news. You don't even need to buy any to get started. Today is your lucky day, seriously. You can get free Palantir stock right now, just by clicking the link down in the description. Follow the steps, and boom, you're in. But wait, I know you're hyped about the president's news. Who isn't? But let's zoom out for a second and look at what's happening with Palantir's chart right now. You're probably wondering, okay, is the price already reacting to this Trump thing? Well, one analyst had a pretty interesting breakdown. He pointed out that for the past 6 days straight, Palantir has been holding its ground, right on a super important level. It's sitting right on that middle line of the Bollinger Bands, riding along with the 21-day moving average. That's tech talk for. This is a line that Palantir has got to protect. It's like a battleground. If it holds this level with strong volume, meaning people are buying and not backing down, we're going to see something special. If Palantir holds that line, the next targets are in sight. First, it's going to climb back up and test that next resistance, then push forward to the next level. And from there, it's game on. That's when you get those sharp moves, the kind of momentum rallies that make the whole market stop and stare. Now here's the part that gets even better. Today, we didn't just get one major update, we got a bunch. And among all the headlines, there's one that really stands out, and that's Palantir's new partnership with Ecuador. Yeah, this is big, like international impact kind of big. So here's what's going on. Ecuador is in the middle of a major digital transformation. They're revamping the way their systems work, modernizing everything. And guess who they just tapped to help lead that change? You guessed it, Palantir. The country's customs agency, CINE, is now using Palantir's cutting-edge technology. We're talking about some seriously smart tools that can detect risky operations, prevent customs fraud, and help stop smuggling at the borders. But it's more than just crime prevention. This tech is also designed to boost legal trade. So it's not just protecting Ecuador's economy, it's actively helping to revitalize it. And this isn't just talk. Palantir officially confirmed the partnership. They even made a statement saying how proud they are to be working side by side with SINAI, the national telecom giant CNT Ecuador, and the Noboa administration. This isn't some random tech deal in the background. This is a government-level, high-priority initiative with multiple national agencies involved. And Palantir is at the core of it. This isn't just Palantir selling software. This is about real-world impact on a national scale. This is a sovereign government relying on Palantir's tech to shape the future of their economy and public safety. That's massive trust and a massive responsibility. When a country decides to digitize its infrastructure, that's a long-term relationship. That's not just a quick contract. That's years of collaboration, expansion, and upgrades. And here's what makes it even more exciting. If Palantir can do this in Ecuador, what's stopping other countries from jumping on board? Nothing. In fact, this is the kind of case study that opens doors across Latin America, and honestly, across the globe. So yeah, while the price might be holding steady today, under the surface, the foundation is being laid for explosive growth. This isn't hype, it's momentum, and it's global. And the Ecuador deal? It's just another strong signal that Palantir isn't slowing down. It's speeding up. But here's the biggest one, the one that could truly send everything into overdrive. Now, we mentioned Trump earlier, right? Well, this goes way deeper. Back in March, the president quietly signed a major executive order. The core idea? To get the entire federal government to start sharing data across agencies. That might sound kind of boring on the surface, but think about what that actually means. This isn't just some paperwork shift. This is about creating something powerful, something that could let the government pull together massive amounts of personal data, all in one place. And guess who's been tapped to make that happen? Yep, Palantir. President hasn't said much about it publicly since signing that order, but behind the scenes, there's been serious movement. Quiet, calculated, intentional moves. And the tech backbone for all of this? It's Palantir's platform. Federal agencies are leaning into Palantir's tech more than ever. Department of Homeland Security, the Pentagon, Health and Human Services, all of them are now using Palantir's Foundry platform. It's already in. We're talking about a system that can organize and connect everything. Banking info, student loans, medical records, even disability status. All pulled together from across federal systems, analyzed, connected, visualized. And guess who controls that visibility? The administration. Now look, no matter where you stand politically, let's be real. This kind of data control is incredibly powerful. Trump has always been about bold moves, and this? This is the infrastructure for something huge. Some critics are sounding the alarm, sure, but Wall Street is paying attention for another reason: scale. Because if Palantir is the central nervous system behind a fully connected US government data network, that's not just big tech. That's trillion-dollar territory. And analysts know it. In fact, some of them are already saying Palantir is on the edge of exploding in value, like 10x soon. And we're not talking about random hype calls. These are serious firms watching this unfold. We've already seen Palantir win contracts worth hundreds of millions. And just last week, the Department of Defense signed off on one worth nearly $1 billion. Yes, that's with a B, and that doesn't even count the other agencies now in talks. The IRS and Social Security Administration are next in line. You see where this is going? Palantir isn't just selling software anymore. They're becoming essential infrastructure, something the US government relies on to function. And once you're that deeply embedded, the growth doesn't just come from new deals. It compounds. It spreads. It becomes the foundation. So yeah, if you're wondering what could possibly push Palantir's stock to $1,000 someday, this right here might be the thing. It's the kind of real-world use case that Wall Street dreams about. High-tech, high-stakes, massive scale, and long-term lock-in. And if that moment comes, when everything clicks and the market finally catches up to what Palantir's been building, don't be the one watching from the sidelines. And even when you zoom out and look at the long-term picture, Palantir's future just keeps looking brighter. One analyst said something recently that really hits the mark. He said Palantir was built for AI-native unicorns. Let that sink in. Not just AI companies. Not just tech startups. AI-native unicorns. Those billion-dollar disruptors that are built from the ground up around artificial intelligence. And it's not just outside voices saying this. People inside Palantir are living it. Chad Wall, one of Palantir's own engineers, described it perfectly. He said that every industry pod inside Palantir operates like a unicorn of its own. Think about that. Teams within Palantir that are run with the mindset, speed, and innovation of billion-dollar startups. That's not your typical corporate structure. That's a company that breeds innovation. And it's working. That's why we keep seeing Palantir produce top-tier founders. People leave Palantir and go on to build their own massive companies. Because the environment is just that powerful. It's like a startup incubator hidden inside a tech giant. But what does that mean for us, as investors, as watchers of this story? It means Palantir isn't just building tools. It's shaping the future of AI, especially for verticals. That means startups that aren't trying to be everything to everyone, but are laser-focused on one specific industry and absolutely dominating it with AI. That's the next wave of innovation. And Palantir's tech, it's perfect for that. Their platform isn't just powerful, it's flexible. It's already proven itself with governments, with the military, with healthcare, with finance, and now with global partnerships. And if they're enabling the next generation of AI unicorns too, that's not just growth, that's acceleration. So yeah, short term, the hype is real. But long term, we might just be watching the rise of one of the most important tech companies of our lifetime. And when that happens, when this thing finally takes off for real, you'll be glad you were early. But what is your opinion on this? comment down below. If you're curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of them. $41 used to be impossible for Palantir, but they just broke this strong ceiling, and now people are celebrating. However, there are some who are giving warnings about Palantir. It could all go down crashing any time. But what they don't know is that Palantir has something up their sleeve. A potentially huge partner who's now sitting on $277 billion in cash could be coming their way. But is this really happening? Where will Palantir go from here? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Palantir fans and investors have been rejoicing because of the latest achievement the company made in the stock market. This was such a difficult price to break. On the other hand of all the celebration is the question of where Palantir could go now, and what would be the implications of this huge growth. There are several opinions on this, so stay tuned and hear me out. For short-term swing traders, this surge presents an opportunity to lock in quick profits. They might see this as a good time to capitalize on the excitement. However, long-term holders could feel differently. They may prefer a more gradual rise, with less volatility and hype. Stability over time is what they are after, rather than sudden spikes that could unsettle the stock's growth. But this is just the beginning. To most people, Palantir's growth looks like something that brings danger to their investments. And what's worrying is that they just might be right. There's some truth to what they're saying. First off, some investors aren't too focused on Palantir's upcoming Q3 earnings. It doesn't matter to them whether these numbers would be good or not. They're only looking at one thing. They argue that the stock isn't worth 100 times its next 12 months' earnings per share. And as you may already know, Palantir is at this level already, basically saying that their stock is too expensive versus what they're earning. In some cases, people see the company's long-term future as incredibly bright. They're looking at growth likely to continue at 24% for the next 5 years. But here's the catch. There's still some heavy hesitation. The fear is that when earnings are released, reality might catch up with the market, causing a significant shift in sentiment. And with 100 times stock price versus their actual earnings, you can already imagine what would happen to Palantir's stock if this growth all crashes down. So is it really the end of Palantir's run? Right now, Palantir looks poised to reach its all-time high of $45, according to some users on X. But many investors are waiting for a much-needed pullback before adding to their positions. While they see Palantir as a core stock in their portfolios, they're hesitant to buy more shares at these elevated prices. They'd rather wait for a reasonable entry point, focusing on value over hype. And here's what's even more concerning. There are diehard Palantir fans who believe in a specific theory. They say that whether a stock is undervalued or overvalued, it will always return to its fair value. According to this view, the market acts as a weighing machine, eventually balancing out inflated or suppressed prices. And if this comes from the mouth of Palantir fans, you already know that these negative views of their stock price isn't made out of hate or disbelief in the stock. It proves that the skepticism around Palantir's valuation remains high. With a market cap nearing $96 billion, a price-to-earnings ratio of 243, most investors see it as absurdly overvalued. So much so that they want people to basically steer clear of Palantir. The fact that the company's net income sits at only $400 million reinforces the belief that Palantir's current price doesn't align with its financial performance. They point to the stock being driven by endless optimism, and they might just be fueled by the market's constant stream of green days and boosted by liquidity from the Federal Reserve's quantitative easing cycles. Overall, while Palantir's growth potential is undeniable, many feel that its current valuation is stretched. The stock may be headed for a pullback, which could serve as a reality check for both the company and its investors. But all is not lost. Palantir is still cooking something up. They just dropped a huge bombshell that shocked everyone. And out of this news comes speculations of a potential partnership of Palantir and a huge name in the investing world. Hear this out. In a recent interview with CNBC, Palantir's CTO, Shyam Sankar, made an exciting announcement. He revealed that Palantir has partnered with a major U.S. insurance company to bring a groundbreaking change. Sankar said that they've automated all of their insurance partners' underwriting. And here's what's crazy. What used to take 2 weeks can now be completed in just 3 hours, thanks to Palantir's 78-agent AI model. This is a huge win for Palantir. Not only does it showcase their ability to solve complex problems, but it also highlights their growing influence in key industries. The insurance sector is a massive market, and being able to dramatically speed up processes like underwriting could lead to more partnerships. This performance boosts confidence in Palantir's technology and its ability to transform traditional industries. For investors, this news shows that Palantir isn't just about defense contracts anymore. They're expanding into other areas, with real-world applications that can create massive efficiency gains. If Palantir continues to deliver these kinds of results, it will strengthen their position in the market and give them a competitive edge. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Something even crazier could happen to Palantir. A post on X has shared their speculations that if this huge insurance company that Palantir partnered with is Geico, it could spell a huge payday for Palantir and its holders. Why so? Well, Geico is owned by none other than Warren Buffett. And if Palantir is partnered up with Geico, there's a huge chance that Warren Buffett would help push Palantir's stock price up. These are all speculations at this point, but let's entertain the potential for now. Warren Buffett buying Palantir stock isn't an entirely impossible scenario. After all, he's not against big data companies. Remember, he sold all his Snowflake shares. If Palantir continues to show strong results and expands its reach, it could attract Buffett's attention as a solid investment. And here's what is even more insane. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is sitting on a record $277 billion cash pile after a recent selling spree, including unloading its Snowflake shares. This creates a significant opportunity for Palantir if Buffett decides to buy its stock. His reputation for investing wisely could bring instant credibility to Palantir. If Buffett were to make a move, it could lead to a surge in Palantir's stock price. Many investors would likely follow his lead, believing that his endorsement signals confidence in the company's future. This influx of interest could drive demand, pushing the stock higher. Additionally, it might attract more institutional investors who respect Buffett's judgment. They could see Palantir as a solid investment given its partnerships and innovations in AI. Overall, Buffett's involvement could transform Palantir from a speculative stock into a more established player in the market, boosting its long-term value. But this isn't just what's in store for Palantir's future. We're also seeing a pattern of money moving out of foreign markets. And this is another opportunity for Palantir. Recently, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index has fallen 6%. This is the worst level it's at since 2008. This decline follows a disappointing stimulus press conference from China, leaving investors anxious. With uncertainty in the Chinese market, it's only right that Palantir's stock is seeing a significant rise today. Money is flowing out of China, and investors are looking for safer, more promising opportunities. And if they see Palantir as a good place to put their money in, then it's going to be a huge push for the company. Another user on X has also noted that Palantir's price movement could be heavily influenced by Wall Street. This is because Wall Street typically makes such moves when they anticipate a super sales cycle is on the horizon. Analysts spend their days calling companies and doing extensive checks. They could be hearing strong signals about Palantir being the only game in town for enterprise AI. This unique position in the market can create a robust demand for Palantir's services as businesses increasingly adopt AI technology. These updates can have a positive impact on Palantir. With the drop in confidence in Chinese markets, investors may turn to U.S. companies like Palantir that offer innovative solutions. The increased interest could lead to higher stock prices and greater market stability for Palantir. As companies look to enhance their operations through AI, Palantir stands ready to capture this demand. Moreover, if analysts continue to promote Palantir's potential and its strong market position, it could lead to a wave of new investments. This influx of capital can further strengthen the company, enabling it to expand its capabilities and services. Overall, these factors position Palantir well for growth, especially in uncertain times. But what do you think about this? Let us hear your thoughts in the comments. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like this video. And don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. This really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.